Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that like button as you come in. Hit that like button as you come in. Hola, hola, hola. Welcome, 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 guys. Welcome back to the Real Precious. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. But good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Juneteenth. Happy day to y'all. I hope you guys are having a good day. King, how are you this evening, my wonderful co host?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. It is Juneteenth up in this thing. This is my third and final live stream for today, so I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, you working. You working, working.
Yeah. I was off from work,
Lucky
but
you.
the grind don't stop over here.
I know that's right. And I know that's right. I wasn't off today. Somebody needs to call phone home to my job and say, hello, get with the program.
Hey, come
Um,
and get you one of these federal jobs.
okay, because my job was like, I don't care about your Juneteenth. Okay. Tariq, I see you in the chat, guys. Happy Juneteenth. Definitely hit that thumbs up button. Perry Production Net B says, what's up? Love the last show. I'm glad you were able to watch and catch up. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's my guy.
He says, good evening, good people. God happened to me. Michelle, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys, everyone who is watching, who did not comment but is watching. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is our Monday men's panel, mixed message Monday, actually, with the men's panel. Tonight we have King. And then y'all already know how it goes. We're going to have some people that just fall right in. I am going to drop the link for anyone who wants to join the conversation. We're going to start out with a mixed message, and then we're going to get right back into what we were talking about last week. Last week's topic was just because the love is real don't mean it's right. Okay, it don't mean that it's right. And we went over some things last week to get into that. And then this week, I said we make it a part two. And part two is it was wrong but this made it feel right. So there were three things that Dr. Darius Daniels talked about making things feel right, as to why Samson chose Delilah. So we're gonna get into that. But before that,
Uh,
is all well? Is all well?
yeah, no, like I just started thinking, plenty of guys would be like, I know that the relationship wasn't right, but I slid in, and it felt all right in the moment.
Okay. All right. All right. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it a little later. First, I do want to get into this mixed message. It has been in social media. Sukiyana, y'all know who Sukiyana is? Y'all know who Sukiyana is.
I don't.
Um, her name on the internet is, I believe, Suki with a good coochie. I think that is her slogan that she goes by.
Hmm.
Well, last week, this guy here, YK Osiris, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I don't even know who he is really. But they were at, I believe, a NBA finals event, and he comes up behind Sukiyana and like grabs her face and kisses her. Prior to that happening, she was having like some small flirtatious talk with him, and I guess that prompted him to then throwing his tongue down her throat. So the mixed message here and what I've been seeing and hearing is that, well, this is what she promotes. She promotes sexuality. She promotes being open, as far as the things that she does with men. And so a lot of people are saying, well, what does she expect? Whereas where I come from and where am coming from with this story is that what someone does as a profession and who they truly are could be two different things.
Hmm.
That doesn't give a man a right to touch a woman in an inappropriate way, especially because she didn't ask for it. Yes, they had flirtatious conversation, but it wasn't like she said, I want you to do this to me. So what do you think about the story? Have you seen that in the headlines of social media last week? It mostly was last week because he issued an apology to her since then.
Yes, I did. So I don't know who they are as far as what they do, but being that I'm a content creator, I try to keep up with what's going on out there. I want to say that the Shade Room and other places covered it as well. So my understanding of it is just like how you said, this is a lady that's very promiscuous, or at least that's the persona that she gives off. She promotes herself being sexy and out here, and Yuki with the Fakuchi or whatever her name is and her moniker. And this guy comes up behind her in a very public place, tried to like kiss her, and it was kind of awkward. And I think from what I saw, Lil Duval was like right there on that same panel, and even he was kind of like, "Yep, not trying to be a part of this."
Yeah, it was like he just had his eyes steadfast on the game or whatever was going on. He just was like
I ain't see nothing.
nothing.
Um,
Okay.
so I think that the topic's interesting. I think that what this young man did, so I just looked him up in his age because I was curious. I'm like, if you look at this picture, he looks 19. He's like 24. I
Mhm.
think that he did something that is a valuable lesson learned, and I hope that we can add something to this conversation that gives value to people that may not just know what the game is out there.
Mhm. Yeah, and the game should be keep your hands to yourself. Because again, with social media, you really can't take people seriously when they doing things for a check. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? When their motive is the money. When your motive is the money, then any and everything you do is going to be geared towards that. And I think that Sukiyana, she has taken on this persona because it makes her money. It gets her a check. She knows she can get the little ratchets. She can get, the girls in the projects that just want to shake their behind on a good beat, or I can do whatever I want with my body. You know, those girls who have that, who feel like sexual liberation is something that they want to flaunt. You know, they make a statement out of it by what they wear, how they carry themselves, and how they talk in their speech. And you have to understand again that money is a motive for Sukiyana. But if young girls are seeing what she's doing, then money is not necessarily the motive for them. Her influence is their motive. So her influence doing what she is doing is now their influence to do what they think is right. And money is not necessarily the motive for them.
Mhm.
So these things can get girls who are not doing this for the money in a lot more trouble, because Sukiyana, she could have, you know, I don't know, filed a complaint on the man. Maybe he could have got into a little bit of trouble if she would have taken it a little bit further. And she did say, she's like, look, I'm not into, you know, breaking down a black man, but at the same time, she's trying to give grace to this man, where it's just like there does needs to be. And there was a couple of people who spoke out about it, saying like, hey, look, man, like, you wrong, like, why would you even do that, you know? But again, the message that it sends to the younger girls is not going to be the way that it's perceived. You know, younger men are not going to perceive that as, oh, I shouldn't do it. It's, oh, well, let me try, let me see what so and so is going to do if I try this.
I think so. I like her message. I think she's got smart people in her corner telling her, "Hey, this guy apologized. You should
Hmm.
accept it." And in her words, because I just looked it up, she said she's not into tearing a black man down. At the same time, I've told y'all very publicly all 2023. My word is accountability. All
Hmm.
right. So, oh man, should he have gotten in trouble more for that? My answer is yes.
Hmm.
To me, I doubt that he learned anything similar to how Ja Morant in the basketball world was waving around guns and gun culture and all this stuff. And then he came out, I'm sorry to the people out there. I should be a role model, all this and that. To only have to turn around and do the same shit like 2 months later. YK Osiris, in my opinion, is likely going to have something else come up, and he's not going to have learned this lesson, because I think in this case he got off easy.
Yeah, some things, you have to, it's not necessarily about tearing down a black man, but I do think that sometimes people need to be made examples out of, and this is just an example of something that you just don't do. You know, and her accepting an apology is fine, it's great,
Hmm?
but at the end of the day, you also have to stand your ground, as a woman in the industry that you're putting yourself in, and saying, hey, this is my profession, this is my job, this is, you know, what I do, but it doesn't make it okay for you to treat me like that in public, because you think this is who I am as a person. Like, do you really know me? Does he really know her? you know? Does he truly know her? And I think that when you're passive about things like this, it makes it okay for other people to think it's okay to test the waters, to,
Exactly.
ride that, teeter that line, you know? So I just really think that it is a mixed message, because it's like the message needs to be, keep your hands to yourself, like I said earlier. Keep your hands to yourself. We in a public place. What makes you think you could throw your tongue down my throat in a public? I'm sitting in between two men trying to figure out what's going on. You know, she's trying
Mhm.
to figure out what's going on. And he not only did it once, but he did it twice. Like, he went in once and then he went in again for the kill. And it's like, dude, if she's not leaning in to kiss you, and she's, you know, like shying away from you, then take that as she don't want to kiss you. Take that as she don't want to do this, with you. So I think, there definitely is a lesson to be learned there, because it's just like, does this man have? I don't know if he has any kids or not, but it's like if you had a daughter, would you just want some man just shoving his throat down her, shoving his tongue down her throat? Like you got to think about it. How is this gonna look? She has kids actually, so it's like the, I'm sure now. I don't. The mama, they probably done seen worse from the mama. But a man throwing himself on her should not be one of the things that they see amongst other things that they probably have seen from their mom.
Hmm. There was a comment that I want to highlight that Quincy said earlier. He said if that was a man as the victim, it would have been water under the bridge. And I think so too. I think it might have been talked about, but it wouldn't have been hitting the news cycle as long as it did if it was a guy and that happened to him, where a lady comes in and leans down and slides in with some tongue action real quick. I think it would have been water up under the bridge. It would have been covered per se. People would have laughed and then just moved on. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, because they actually do talk about Sukiyana in her performances and how like she's grabbing guys' butts and acting like she, all the way down there on them. And it's like they don't say anything to her when she's performing. But in a situation like that, it's like, okay, what makes this guy feel as though it's okay? But like I said before, money is the motive. So if they up on stage and she's putting on a quote unquote show, then it's not really going to be talked about like the situation where she's sitting down on a panel of 3 people and someone pretty much bum rushes her with their tongue down her throat. So I definitely agree to that. Quincy says it would have been like someone trying to kiss a brother now to sports. Now to sports. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have gotten the same it wouldn't have gotten the same highlight and eyes on it. But honestly, in social media land, I think everything has eyes. I think everything has eyes on it. It's just what are the people really, what do they say, selectively outraged about today? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what are we, having selective outrage about today?
Yep. What is the selective outrage flavor of the day?
Yeah, because we're all on the same pretty much social media. So we see the same posts, we see the same things going up and down our timelines. So, it's just which story are we going to be fake upset about today?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with this story, I don't think that people were necessarily fake upset. I think that they were really upset, but at the same time, you also have to, be mindful about what you put out there. If you're going to put out, and I'm not saying that this is right. I'm not saying that it gives anyone a pass to sexually assault you or touch you inappropriately. But what I am saying is, what do they say? Dress how you want to be addressed.
Yeah.
Dress how you want to be addressed. So if you don't want to be addressed in a certain type of way, then you're not necessarily going to dress a certain type of way. And then you have the ladies that's like, well, just because I barely have any clothes on, don't mean that you can come over here and treat me like such and such. Well, you dress like such and such, So it's like, how do you really want me to treat you? Like, what is the message that you're truly sending across when you barely have any clothes on? So I think it's accountability on both ends. But I do believe that what she's doing for a check and who she is in her real life, there's probably definitely a difference. And so that was where the rubber meets the road when he did that. And I think a lot of people were trying to see how she was going to respond. And I think she, kind of gracefully bowed out on that one and said, you know what, I'm going to give him grace. I'm going, accept the apology and things like that. And we just going to smooth it over. We're not going to make a big riff out of this. We're not going to make big waves out of this. So I can understand why she did that. But at the same time, sometimes you do have to make an example out of people, because guess what? He made an example out of her, and didn't have no problem doing it. And you don't have to do it in a disrespectful way, but you do need to let people know that they can't play in your face.
Yep.
I mean, point blank, period. All right. So we're going to get into the video. I did drop the link for anyone who does want to join the live as we're getting into the discussion, because now we're going to get into the 3 reasons why it felt right. So this show's title was or is, it was wrong, but this made it feel right. And again, we're coming from a video that my pastor, Dr. Darius Daniels, aired last week. And so we're going to get into the second part of that. But before we do, I'm going to play this video that I had posted on my Instagram page, because I believe this kind of describes or describes this video. And just I'm not quite sure what movie this came from. If anybody knows, definitely put in the chat. And if you're watching the stream after it has aired, if you know the movie, definitely put in the chat. But this kind of speaks to what we're about to get into a little bit. So I'm going to add this to the stream.
So she's not younger than me, she's not skinnier than me, and she's not prettier than me. Then why couldn't it just be me?
She's softer than you. She's quieter than you. She doesn't yell at me. She doesn't call me an idiot or tell me to shut up all the time. She listens to me. She's nice to me. She doesn't make me feel like the only thing stopping her from being happy is me.
All right. So I played that because it looked like a marriage situation, right? And this woman is asking him, why not me? Like, why, why are you choosing her and not me? And sometimes they say, I've heard, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Someone told me that a long time ago. Don't ask a question that you don't want the answer to. And so she asked these questions and he said, look, she's quieter than you. She's softer than you. She doesn't yell at me. She doesn't call me names. She doesn't make me feel like, her world isn't going to go on because of me. He gave her all of these answers. And I think that when Dr. Darius Daniels that was one of the first things that came to my mind when he was delivering his message about, on the series he's been doing, Manology. But that's the first thing that came to my mind, because a lot of times these things that happen are relationship based, right? So we have these conversations based around relationships and the things that go on in relationships. And in this particular message that he was given, we're talking about Samson and Delilah, a relationship, right? A relationship that took place that shouldn't have taken place. Samson was Israelite. Delilah was it's fleeting
I can't help you because the Bible's not my strong suit.
She was a Palestinian. She was pretty much the enemy of the Israelites, and Samson was sent to pretty much protect his people from them. But yet he kept finding himself in relationship with the enemy, right? And so taking that clip that we just saw and applying it to Dr. Darius's message, he's like, look, you keep finding yourself with these Palestinians, like you keep finding yourself, or Philistines, you keep finding yourself with people that you're not supposed to be with, but you're getting a need met in the wrong place, right? So the couple, it's like, why not me? Why are you going over there for something that I can give you here? And it's just like, this is why I'm going over there, right? This is why she makes me happier than you do. And so I'm going to play the clip from last week from where we left off at, but he gives 3 reasons why it felt right. It was wrong. It was wrong for Samson to be with the Philistine, but it felt right because of these 3 things. And I think we can relate this to just men in general and men in life, and when it comes to relationships. So we're going to get this up on the screen here.
Bet I can guess what one of them 3 things was.
Say, this is hard to find, AB. He kept going to the Philistines because he didn't see a lot of difference. Maybe he was dealing with the same kind of condescension and combativeness. I don't know, but I just kind of looked at the passage and drew some conclusions based off of some things I saw about their interaction. And so here's one thing, here's maybe one reason Samson wanted Delilah. she wasn't dismissive of his desires. Oh, well.
Oh boy.
See, dismissiveness doesn't mean necessarily disrespect.
I think it does.
I don't have to be disrespectful to be dismissive. Dismissiveness can happen when a person is weighing the weight of what's important to me on the scale of what's important to you.
We'll stop it there because you said that you think dismissiveness is disrespect. So explain that.
I think that if you're all right, so for a guy, one of the best things that you could have is you could have somebody be supportive. Like on a list of important things, take away physical attraction. I think that if you ask a guy if he's looking at somebody and evaluating them for like long term, if they're supportive of them, then there's a difference in being dismissive about what that man's goals, dreams, and things that he's trying to get done versus, okay, I see what you're trying to do. I may not agree with it, and here's why. I think often what guys hear and what I'm hearing from my homeboys, fellas, and things like that is that there was somebody that's just a straight up dream killer, but they don't have a logical reason for doing it. They're just like, well, I don't feel like this is something that we should do. And the fastest way to have a man be unattractive to him is to be a dream killer.
Okay. I can definitely get with that. We're going to keep on with the video because he's going to further explain what he's talking about as well.
Okay.
And if what's important to me doesn't weigh the same as what's important to you, then you don't prioritize it the same way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You were pretty much saying the same thing.
It's if you don't think it's important, then it's not. Even if I've articulated it's important to me. And watch this. Just because I articulate it doesn't mean you have to agree.
Okay.
I just want to know I'm heard.
That part. That's pretty much what it comes down to, right? Men just want to know that they are heard, because what's important to you guys isn't going to always be important to us, and vice versa. What's important to us isn't always going to be important to you guys. But we always say, well, are you listening? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Did you just hear what I said? You guys don't do that. You guys aren't going to say, maybe if you're fed up, but you're not going to do all the things that we do, right? And he's going to get into that. So I don't want to skip ahead, but you guys aren't going to do that, but you do want to feel heard. So I have here that desire is a strong feeling, worthy or unworthy, that impels to the attainment or possession of something that is in reality or imagination within reach. A desire for success. Craving implies a deep and imperative wish for something based on a sense of need and hunger, a craving for food, companionship, etc. Right? So that's a desire. A lot of times desire to me is a very strong word. When you hear desire, you think the extreme, you think big hopes, big dreams, a craving for something. Most men can be classified as simple, right? Mm-hmm. So what is something that you would say that a man would desire, something that would be on a grand scale of desire? What are some examples that you could give that a man, like in a relationship, may say that he desires? because that's a big, that to me, that's a grandiose word that holds weight. It's not like you just want something, or if you you could take it or leave it, but a desire is something that you truly want.
Okay, so here's a perfect example. And look, I'm going to put people up on game for everybody, right? If I come at you and I list a desire, let's say I desire to have X, right? So I'm just going to throw just X, and X could be anything, right? Now, when I express that to you, Precious, if you with me, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the sexiest things that you can say to me when I express my desire to you. Okay, King, tell me more. You say that? Hey, what you need, you know what I'm saying, later tonight, need your feet rubbed, you know what I'm saying? Tell me what's going on with you, because going back to what you said, right? Just being heard. But if you can say, okay, tell me more, later on, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, but you've heard me, that's not disrespectful in my mind. You've heard what my desire is, right? And you're listening, and even just saying tell me more might mean that you want to support that if you can, right? And enough people don't do that. They're quick to just kill somebody's dream without asking that simple question or saying that statement. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Okay. Now, what is other than not saying tell me more, in what ways would you feel dismissed if she just didn't say that, if she just didn't inquire more about what your desire is? Because I think when we get into real life situations, we could talk about things all day on these lives and things like that, but it's when you're in the actual real situation where it's just like, I think she dismissing my desires. Like, what has that ever happened to you? Or what would that look like for a man to be like, dang, I don't think she just heard anything I just said. Like,
yeah,
went in one ear and out the other.
Yes, no, that's an excellent question. I think that what you see often is that the guy will express the desire, and without even taking a beat or a breath, well, I don't think that we should, you know what I'm saying? And that's the first thing that comes up, and it's just that quick. You didn't say the tell me more, or oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's talk about this. Well, I don't think that you should blah 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 because of blah blah blah. It's like, well, damn, you didn't even want to take time to like talk about this. You just gonna dismiss it off the rip. I think that that's what you see often day to day between couples, and then that kind of thing, it puts a further divide into a relationship that's not strong.
Got you. God Happened to Me says, I agree with King. If you dismiss what I say or how I feel, you are disrespecting me. Your words and actions are saying that I don't matter to you. Tarika says that she agrees as well. Additionally, if you can't support my dream, saying that it's unrealistic but not offering a viable solution, you are being disrespectful towards me. So I can definitely see what you're saying right there. So, it's when you don't inquire more about the desire, when you guys feel unheard and feel dismissed. So at least the least you can do as a woman is inquire about the desire. Okay, inquire about the desire. All right, ask some questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, get into it. Get involved. Don't seem so dismissive of the desire. Inquire about the desire. All right, we're going to keep going.
Just want to know that when it comes to what the Bible says, I can only get from you. Because there's some stuff God is not going to do.
God ain't going to meet you in the bedroom now, Chad.
He gave Adam Eve. Because he say some of the stuff you need, I'm not going to do. So if this is the only place that the Bible says I can get it, and I'm articulating to you what I need, are you responding in a way that helps me to see that what I need matters to you? And here's the danger of dismissiveness. Dismissiveness leads to muteness. And only Jesus can heal a mute man.
Okay.
By the
Okay,
time
yep.
he gets mute,
Yep.
you can't fix it.
We all know only Jesus saves. Y'all know that's my slogan over here. Only Jesus saves now.
Because the muteness is a reflection of the accumulation of dismissiveness. Because now his muteness becomes a way to manage his disappointment.
Okay. Yes.
We're going to stop it there. We're going to stop it there. We're going to stop it there. Hey, Hank, how are you?
What up, Hank?
Man, ain't nothing going on. I'm over in Jamaica right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jamaica.
My man pulled up
What?
even when he in Jamaica. That's what I'm talking about, man. Salute.
Right?
Mm.
Oh, thank you. I feel
Oh,
honored
no
that
problem.
you tapped in and you in Jamaica. Look, we ain't gonna hold too much of your time now. Tap out whenever you feel ready, Hank.
Well, I told you I'd come through, so.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. We're talking about, we're on a continuation from last week. How are you, Hank? Other than being, we know you're fine, man.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have some stories to tell. I tell you after this. I promise you that. So
Okay, well, I'll be
I'm,
waiting
I'm,
to hear 'em.
I might have to do I wasn't planning on doing a show Wednesday. I plan on just relaxing, but I might have to just talk about it, man.
Ooh,
You
I'm gonna
know,
have
I'm
to
looking.
pull up.
talk about it with the Henny. Somebody said bring some white Henny back. Ship it on back to us, Hank. Ship it
Look here,
on back.
man. You know, I'm not gonna waste y'all with just the story, but yeah, I know what they mean. That's a big thing over there, that white Hennessy.
It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
yeah, for sure. But
All right.
yeah. I said, look like we're going to church again this week. I was going to church on Sunday on LaPetra Sunday. We went to church. We got some
Look,
more church. The church gonna continue on Monday. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm used to that. When being a
when that-
preacher's kid, I'm used to going to church about 4 days a week. So this ain't nothing new to me. So
look, we gotta. I like it because he brings reality into the church. It's
mhm.
not like, the old time. It's literally what we go through in today's society, and the way he articulates himself. I truly do admire that about him, because not a lot of people can grasp it or digest it without all the other stuff. So we're doing a continuation from last week, and this week we're doing the reasons
Mhm.
on why he chose Delilah. And so the
Yeah.
first, you just came in on the first one, which is being dismissive of his desires. A man is not, he does not want a woman that's going to be dismissive of his desire. And King pretty much said, hey, look, when you're not inquiring, or when you're not saying, tell me more about that desire, then you're pretty much dismissing it. And so we came up with a little saying, inquire about the desire. So now we've moved on to the part where he's talking about the dangerousness of being dismissive. And he's saying that the danger of being dismissive is that a man is going to go into a state of muteness, meaning you guys aren't going to talk. If you dismissing my desires, you guys aren't going to talk. You're not going to, and that's a dangerous place to be in. So I'm just going to rewind it a little bit so we can go back off of that point.
His disappointment. You can't fix it.
Okay.
That helps me to see that what I need matters to you. And here's the danger of dismissiveness. Dismissiveness leads to muteness. And only Jesus can heal a mute man. By the time he gets mute, you can't fix it. Because the muteness is a reflection of the accumulation of dismissiveness. Because now his muteness becomes a way to manage his disappointment. Because if I keep talking about something you keep showing me you're going to do nothing about, it increases my frustration. And so because I want to manage my frustration in a healthy way, I'm going to stop talking about this.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'd rather just deal with not having it than to continue to have conversations that remind me of how much I want it.
We're going to stop it right there. Sheesh. He said a mouthful. Y'all are just going to stop talking about it because having conversations that remind you that you want it is going to be frustrating to you. So when women ask, like, why isn't he talking to me? He don't talk to me. I don't know what's on his mind. You guys are trying to manage that, your muteness, in a healthy way. Can y'all talk on that?
Let me say, because I said that there was one thing that I disagreed on, and think what you will about it. He said only Jesus can heal a man that has gone mute because he's been dismissed. I'll say, well, all right, Pastor, that might be true, but I'm gonna tell you something. If you have a good man and you dismissive, that good man, if that next lady that comes into his life that hears him out, right, that's not dismissive of him, that good man might end up leaving you to go right on over to that person that's gonna listen to him. So, you know, I just wanted to, I kind of,
I think he said that only Jesus can do that, because when you do go over to the other woman who hears you out and you're not mute anymore, you're now stepping outside of your marriage where you should be getting that from. And again, remember this, it was wrong, but this made it feel right. Right. So his relationship with Delilah was wrong, but because of the things that she was doing, she wasn't dismissing his desires. So he was vocal with her, right? He was in love with her. It said that he was in love with her. It didn't say that she loved him back, but he was in love with her because of these things, right? So, you know, yes, the next woman may be able to make you talk, and maybe you just might not shut up with the next woman because she's inquiring about those desires, right? But it's still wrong, because you're now getting what you should be getting from your wife, and you're getting that from somebody else.
All right.
Know? So Hank, what do you have to say about a man managing he's managing what he wants by being mute because his desires are being dismissed?
Man, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay. Now we kind of talked about this on LaPisha Sunday one time, and I shared about you know, how some women don't make it a safe place for their man to be vulnerable, to the point where, you know, they going to work and all of a sudden Nancy is making herself available, where you can be vulnerable and comfortable. And that's how you get that work wife, where he can go in there and share, unload his issues, unload his day. And his day even is barely over because they at lunch. You know, they in the cafeteria, you know what I'm saying, on break, you know, breaking bread together. He's eating that nasty ass mayonnaise sandwich his old lady fixed him. You know what I'm saying? She didn't even think to use Miracle Whip. She gave him mayonnaise. That's how trifling she was. She said, I was gonna put some shit together. He gonna accept this and he gonna move on.
Right.
He gonna be happy. Be glad I even made you something. I mean, that's the attitude that some people get. But now he's unloading that. You know, I sure loves a Miracle Whip and turkey sandwich. You know, maybe a little cheese and a slice of freshly sliced tomato or something. So he's expressing that to Nancy. Guess what Nancy gonna do that next day? Next day, Nancy then went to the farmer's market, got that fresh tomato. You know what I'm saying? Got some lettuce. You know what I'm saying? Got one of them travel size Miracle Whip. You know, because she normally don't use it, but for for that special dude,
Right.
she'll make some exceptions. And guess what she also did? She went in there, got some pickles, sliced them up real nice for him, put them on the side, a little bag of chips, gave him the bag, said, "This is for you, for your call." Now Carl, he back like, "Damn, Nancy, that was awfully nice of you. You didn't have to do that. I know you went out of your way to do it. I know you're not a big fan of America, but you didn't have to do all this. I appreciate that." And so now she's setting him up. Now he's feeling more relaxed. He's able to share stuff. You know, what's not, going on at home like it should be going on at home. You know what I'm saying? He can't, unload, man. Them kids are getting on my nerves, man. I'm trying. But this my son, he's having problems in school. You know what I'm saying? He's struggling in his math class. I'm looking to get him a tutor, but the tutor's real expensive. Guess what Nancy's gonna say? "Oh, Carl,
I know
no
some.
problem. You bring him by. I know math. That was my minor when I was at Murray State. I'm mad at math. So yeah. You bring him by. Look, I won't charge you a thing. Just come by. Let him stay for about an hour. I get him together." And so now he's to that point where he first comes, he can drop his son off, come back, pick him up, run some errands, do what he need to do, come back, pick him up, and his son's, his son was cool with her because guess what? He helped her out. She was patient with him.
Mm.
But he go home, mama ain't patient with him. Mama's frustrated because he's not getting it. You know what I'm saying? So now she's all over the place. Her emotions all over the place. So now she don't want to be bothered with nobody. Call y'all, come on, tell her day it's just not working for her. Yeah, that's nice. I'm sorry, but I got other things going on. What about my day? My day was this, and she can unload her problems because he's willing to listen,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not being reciprocated. It's a one-way street. No, that's not right. So, but when you do those type of things, you push your man into the arms of another woman until the point where he's not ready to come home. Sunshine got a hold to him, right? You remember Harlem Nights? Mama, tell the kids, tell your mama I'm not coming home no more.
Back. I ain't coming
That's
back.
it. He done. He tapped out. He's already mentally tapped out because them first two or three conversations with Nancy done got him. Now it's been going on 6 months now. They passed the probation period.
Mm.
He's ready to move in with her now. She ain't got nobody there. She just her and her cat.
Ooh.
But now she got a warm body now because Carl moved in.
Mm.
And she's ready to accept all the Carl's burdens. Leave them at my altar, baby.
Ooh. Y'all heard it here first on the Real Precious.
Shit.
That he just set the scene. That was the scene and cut. That's how it goes down. Hello, Brock. How are you?
I'm good, Real Precious. Hello to you and to the panel.
All right. So, have you been listening? Did you want to join in at this point?
I have.
Go ahead
I have been listening. All of life, whether your motive is right or wrong, a part of life is sowing and reaping, or the like thereof.
Mm-hmm.
No farmer can look at a piece of land and just wish to get a harvest. He's got to put some work in. Some seeds got to be planted. And the like thereof, he will never get a harvest. I have a cousin-in-law, my departed wife of 10 years. Cousin is a radio show host, has her own station and TV station. And she said many women unknowingly sabotage their own marriages with what they fail to do. Not that they don't know what to do. They fail, they deliberately, they intentionally don't do it, thinking that they're going to keep him in check. And as Brother Basement says, unless that man is real disciplined, you just pushing him into the arms of another woman. 27 years of marriage. 10 years a widow. So that gives a little credibility to my voice.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm glad that you joined because, like I said, this is relationship centered. Are Bible centered as well. So we're talking about Samson and Delilah and how that relationship was wrong, but she did things that made it feel right. And Dr. Darius Daniels just finished his Manology series on this. Next month. He's gonna be talking to the ladies, and I'm gonna be listening just as closely as I was listening to it for the men. Okay. So we're gonna keep going on this.
And here's what's scary. What you want, what we need, is men that are not mute. I know we talk a lot about men's presence, but the Bible shows us the importance of men's voices. See, even in the Garden of Eden, the problem wasn't that Adam wasn't present. The Bible says Eve ate the fruit and gave it to her husband that was with her. Like we tell the story like Adam's in one part of the garden, Eve's in another. Adam's right there. He's present but not vocal. He's not leading. All he had to do in that situation is lead. And we are not in the situation we're in, but he went mute.
So I wanted you to speak on that, Brock, as far as the dangerousness of a man going mute in a relationship. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish, and then I was
going to say, because, we talk about the woman not necessarily doing what she should be doing, which is dangerous as well. But then the other side of that is a man becoming mute and him managing his unmet desires or unmet needs with being quiet and being mute. So I wanted you to speak on that a little bit.
Just having this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we negate, when we push to the side, push to the curb, when we negate our God-given ability to speak, just that alone will straighten things out.
Mm-hmm.
But when we allow, I know you did your disclaimer. Let me do mine. I'm not trying to preach, teach, or convert anybody. Just sharing principles, a good ideology. When we fail to speak, we open up the door. And one of the best ways to see the enemy is that what we should be speaking about, we get silent. So that's the reverse of what God would want us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's speak.
Mm-hmm.
When we speak, we are portraying in whose image we have been created. The best thing a person can say about you or me or my brother King Smith is that we're acting like our father. Don't we say that? Don't mother say that about son? You acting just like your daddy. Well, it applies in this same context. But if we go on mute, and I've been there, Precious, I've been there. And I mean, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then it turned into days. On the back end of the marriage. Transparency time.
Hot time.
And I'm a talker. I love to talk. And I made it known. You don't want me to go mute on you. Or any man for that fact.
Yeah, he's going to get into that. He's definitely going to get into that probably in just a second, actually.
It's not always dangerous when he's asking for it. It's just dangerous when he stopped. Number two, she didn't demonize his differences. He used to play a lot. He used to do riddles. He played a lot. His family's like, you need to stop all that playing. And he did play too much. He did play too much, right? That's an idiosyncrasy. That's a weakness. He played too much. Yet at the same time, just because his area where he needed to grow was different doesn't mean it should be demonized.
So I'm gonna stop it there,
Mm.
because there's a lot of differences between men and women, right?
Yeah.
So then when you get down to the nitty gritty of joining the two, you're going to see, and we talked about this earlier, that there are some things that are important to me that are not important to you, and vice versa. However, women will say, well, he played a game all the time. He always in the room playing a game. Why he always gotta play the game? Oh my God, why don't he come out here and watch a movie with me? Golly, he always playing that damn game. Yet that's how he likes to relax. But she, it's almost like demonizing the differences. It's like you like to play the game and relax, and she might like to watch reality ratchet TV that she shouldn't be watching, and you don't like that she does it. You don't demonize her for that.
That's
You
right.
don't say to her, stop watching that crap, and you're filling your head with nonsense. You just let her have her ratchet TV. And a man just wants to know, why can't I just have my video game? Yes, kids play video games, and yes, I'm a grown man, but I like to play video games. What does that do for you guys when women demonizes the difference between you two? Because there are always going to be differences, just
Yeah,
because of the nature of who we are as people and the different sexes. So, what does that do to you guys? Does it make you just want to not be around her? Is it like you can't accept me for me? What does it do to you guys?
yeah, that's easy. I mean, I think typically what you see is you go, or you just go, I don't want to do this when she's around because I don't want to hear her mouth. I don't want to hear what she got to say about it. So and then you start getting upset that if you don't check it or say something about it because you just want to have peace. But yet you just want to do this. I ain't talking about trying to game all day. Hey, I want to sit down here for an hour, play some Madden or whatnot, some Call of Duty or whatever, and then boom, going about whatever I need to get done. But if you have somebody that's constantly demonizing what you're trying to do, you just go, and you don't want to be around that person.
Yeah. Hank, what about you? Demonizing your differences. Have you ever been in a situation where a woman just couldn't get with the things that you liked, and you was like, all right, like if you can't get with it, you got to get lost?
Yeah, yeah, and I would have to let her know. I like, look her, once a season. That's one season of football, and there's 16. Well, at the time, there was 16 regular season games. One day a week.
Mhm.
I don't go out to eat. I mean, I don't go out to clubs. I don't go to strip clubs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't get high. I don't do none of that. I don't do drugs. I don't play video games. That's not my thing. But I do join football, watching football at the sports bar, and engage in some fantasy football and all of that good stuff. So, one day out of the week, I would leave and go on Sundays, and I would be gone for the duration of one game. Not two games, not both games.
Just
Like that 1 o'clock slot and that 4 o'clock or 4:30 slot. I'm just going from 1 o'clock. No, about 12:30. Get about 12:30, right? All the way up to about maybe 4:30 if the game goes in overtime and it runs long. 16 weeks out of 52. That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. So give me that piece, and if that's a problem, you need to explain to me why. What we got going on Sunday that I need to be stuck in this house? Nothing. So I'm going to go to the sports bar. I'm gonna get away. I'm gonna have my place of peace, watch the game. I'm gonna come home, and I'll probably still watch a game, but at least I'll be home
Right.
in the vicinity in case you need me. I'll get some questions, something you need me to do. All right, allow me to have that.
Mhm.
Allow me to have that. You want to go out Saturday night, hang out with your friends? Cool. I don't disturb you. I don't say nothing. The porch light will be on. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know where you're going and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and hopefully you come home in a decent and respectful hour as a married woman or a married man. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Just but you know, come Sunday, let me do my thing.
Right.
So it means from 9 a.m. when I need to set my lineups all the way to about maybe 10 o'clock at night. By the time that Sunday night game is in hand
Yes.
or halftime is over or something, whatever the case may be, give me my day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But it was a problem. It was a problem at times because
Mm-hmm.
she felt like, oh, I'll do it all day long. I'll do it. Okay, and we have nowhere to be. That's why we don't schedule nothing on Sundays. We don't know nothing's going on.
Right.
Nothing. So
Or he it's that other part is all right, like not that you counting what it is that you do like the other 6 days, but the part that always baffle me is how you gonna complain about this thing and dismiss all the 95% of other shit that I do for us without seeking praise or anything like that. And I think that that's what people tend to like not talk about as well. When you want to demonize or dismiss this one thing, discounting everything else that I do on all this other time without seeking praise, glory, or none of that.
exactly. I mean, I could be one of those that hang out at the club Friday, Saturday, and late Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying? That could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my thing. I'm not a smoker. You ain't got to worry about me somewhere getting drunk or getting high, getting into acting. You ain't got to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hang out all night and do all those things. No, I don't. That's not my thing. So, but you know where I'm going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, matter of fact, if you want to go, you can go. But what I'm going to say is, don't when you get bored, don't come talk I'm ready to go. No, 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 no. You better catch a Uber because I'm here. I'm here till that game done. Now, either you're gonna be here with me and we're gonna be good, and you can eat and be merry and well taken care of. Or you can just stay home and be in the comforts of your home. But I'm gonna be here and I'm enjoying myself, hang out, talk shit with my friends and buddies and all that good stuff. And we're gonna have a good old time. Watch the game and let it be. Like King said, let us have our moment. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I don't think we ask for that a lot. Not, what I'm saying, not at all. Let us have our moment.
Okay. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Now, Brock, you speak about being married before. Has there been a time where your difference was demonized against you, in your marriage?
That's one issue I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
unless I didn't recognize it. I had a very submissive wife. Let me clear up that word submissive right quick. In the Greek, it's hupotasso. It means to line up under authority. And we all do it in different areas of life. We line up under bosses, corporations, supervisors. We line up under their authority to follow the chain of command. But when it comes to marriage, we have an issue. So I said that to say she was submissive. I did not abuse that because I knew I'd have to give an account to God. And if I don't treat her right, God is not going to answer my prayer. If I overstep my boundaries by mentioning certain names, I don't know if that's permissible on YouTube or not. Correct me. Feel free to correct me. This is your panel. If she did it through silence. Her strongest weapon next to her body was her silence. And all the women in her family were very attentive listeners. Very. I've watched her for hours just sit on the phone with her sister and just listen to her and not say a word. So hopefully I'm answering the question. If she was doing it, she was doing it in silence. And I don't know if that makes sense. But as far as I can remember, that's one thing that I didn't have an issue with. Mm-hmm. Marriage has a way of showing how immature we are and how selfish we are,
Okay.
like no other institution I know of.
Okay. We're going to keep going on. I think I said what I had to say as far as demonizing differences. I think that, oh, I started because I didn't want to forget it. It says again, women don't know how to support a man's interest. Quincy said that. And I think I saw a meme or something where a man is about to do something and he is relaxing and the woman comes in and she's like trying to give him all these things to do or whatever, or before he leaves he's like, you sure you don't want anything, you sure you don't want anything, you sure? And then as soon as he goes to like put his hand on the door or whatever, it's like, oh, can you do this or can you get this? It's like when a man is at peace or when he's just relaxing or when he just wants his downtime, is like that's when a woman is apt to asking for something, or when I go somewhere, or can you do this? It's almost like women, we like to have our serenity and peace and time where we're not disturbed, but men like that too. And you guys relax a lot differently than we relax. Dr. Darius Darius was talking about him and his wife going on vacation, and people always be like, "Oh, what'd you do on vacation? What'd you do on vacation?" And he's like, "Nothing. I had fun doing nothing on my vacation." Because it's like, why do you always have to be doing something? As busy as he is, as busy of a man as he is, when he's doing nothing, he's okay with that. He's actually doing something for himself by doing nothing, because he's always doing something, And so women have to be okay with the simplicity that you guys take and the simplicity that you hold. And when it comes to a relaxation state, you don't need much. You don't want much. You just don't want to be bothered, and you want to be accepted for how you relax or what you choose to do, and you not be demonized for that. Because a lot of times, that's again, that's where the mute comes in. It's like, all right, you're going to demonize me from being different because I like, Pokemon cards, or Hank, what's your background? You collect a lot of figurines, like in your background?
Yeah, it's action figures and Funko Pops.
Yeah, so
And vinyl records, yeah.
Yeah, so that's your thing. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine a woman coming in and be like, "Why you got all these things all over the place? Why you keep?" That's your thing. So no man wants to give up his thing or give up his relaxation or his peace for someone who is not just gonna be able to simply accept it. You don't gotta agree with it. You don't have to. You ain't gotta buy them. You don't have to collect them. You don't have to. Take inventory. I like it. So allow me to like it without it being something that you're demonizing me for because you don't like it or you don't agree or see the significance in it.
Exactly.
Corey says men can multitask, but we prefer doing one thing at a time. Quincy says, do you have a Jay Dilla version of that figure? I'm not quite sure what he's talking about. Maybe you do.
Jay Dilla's a rapper, so he's asking if he got a Jay Dilla version, or rapper or producer, one of them.
Okay. And he says I collect wax too, which is cool. I think my parents has a record player. We used to listen to the Temptations when we put up Christmas decorations. That was like a ritual of ours, putting up Christmas decorations at home. All right, so we're going to get into the last part of this video, then we're going to get y'all on your way. We know Hank wants to continue to enjoy Jamaica because child, if I was
Jamaica, man.
Okay, if I was Jamaica, okay, I don't know.
Unfortunately, it's the last day of Jamaica, so I'm flying. We flying out tomorrow.
You got to blow it out. You got to blow it out now.
Well, let's get them out of here. Let's get this next one is pretty simple and easy.
She didn't have a view of spirituality that diminished her sensuality.
Wow. That's good there.
There is not the articulation, and there is not the expression to a man from a woman of her desire for him. So it's not telling people to be something that you aren't, but it is speaking to it is speaking to the reality and encouraging you to be free in the covenantal context that God has ordained.
What he's saying is, if you marry, you better throw it back, because that is what the Bible is telling you to do. And if you don't do it,
What did I just say?
you're sinning. Okay,
Sowing
that
and
is what
reaping.
Dr. Darius Daniels is talking about. He's saying, okay, in so many words, he articulates himself so well.
Yeah.
But in so many words, what he's saying is, if we marry, why can't you be free with me? Why don't you have an open mind? Why don't you want to do this? We know you love the Lord, but you better love this thing I got down here too, because he done gave it to you. He done put us together. He done made sure we got together and did what was right. Okay. So if you're not going to do what's right with what he gave me, stop holding me up. Stop wasting my time. All right.
Don't
And I
play
think a
with it.
lot
Don't
of-
play with it. Don't play with it.
Right.
I had to go there.
I think a lot of times, when it comes to Christianity and sexuality, there is such a divide and such a there's no connection there, right? So if anybody grew up in a church, young girls were told not to have sex before marriage and don't bring no babies in this house. Men, I don't necessarily know what y'all are told. Don't bring no babies in this house. I don't know. Use protection. I don't know. I have a brother. I'm not quite sure what my parents told him about sex. I don't remember that part. They told him. But for me, it was don't bring no babies in this house. Don't. But there was no sex is reserved for marriage. And when you are married, your body, you're supposed to submit your body to your husband. And that's when it will be pleasurable. That's when it will be good in God's sight. That's when sex actually will be your best. That's when you're supposed to have the best sex. If you're going to talk about sex with a Christian, at least talk about the good side of it, so that when someone does it and it's not necessarily in that covenant, they don't necessarily feel like, all right, I'm going to hell now. God don't even look at us like that. You know what I mean? But our parents have this way of leaving some things out, so it makes us feel like that when we participate in this, we're wrong. And although you may be wrong, that doesn't mean that the education behind what you're doing shouldn't be there. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't be partaking in some conversation with you, so you know what the context of sex is. They always say marriage is the container for sex. But you're not being taught that. But what he's saying is pretty much like, hey, look, after you get married, you ain't got to turn into a nun, right? Like that's probably the time where you're supposed to be free. Like he said, I'm not telling you to be something that you're not. I'm not telling you to put on some hooker heels and some fishnets, unless you feel comfortable with that. But you don't even want to be free with me, and I'm your husband. That's what I hear him saying. And so again, I think that there's a divide there when it comes to Christianity and sexuality and women in the church, because we're being told no, don't. And then when the woman get married, she's scared half to death to have sex with her husband. She feels dirty. And it's like, I think there needs to be conversations and understanding to what it is to actually submit yourself to your husband, and not only the cooking and the cleaning and the all that other stuff. Because when we talk about desires, again, I believe desires come from within, from your spirit, and one desire is a sexual desire. That's a craving. That's a natural want and need for, I believe, a human being. And so if you're choosing marriage to not unleash that, then is there something deeper wrong there? Is there a craving that you're suppressing, or I don't know. When I heard him say those things, I heard him say, look, We marry and you not even trying to reach my sexual desires, and that's a problem.
Marriage is honorable
Mm-hmm.
and the bed is undefiled. That's word. Paul
Mm-hmm.
talking to the church. Marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. God gives you free access to get it in.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to role play, however you choose, it's with your partner. He speaks again to the marriage institution and he says, man, you don't have power, which is the word exousias, authority over your body, but the woman does, and vice versa. You run that back to Matthew when Jesus said, the two shall become one. So see, all that's in the process
Mm-hmm.
of becoming one. And it don't happen overnight.
Right. Right.
It ain't. I'm using bad English on purpose.
It's okay.
It ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna go deep down, dirty South here in Louisiana. It ain't gonna happen overnight. But you got to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You got to communicate. A lot of our bad, erroneous ideologies, I hate to say it, come straight out of the institution of the church because of lack of rightly dividing the word of God. And your pastor is doing a good job. How does this apply to where we are living right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I respect the days of the cotton field, but I'm not living there.
Right.
Pull that concept out of there and apply it to right now, 2023. How do I handle my daughter getting pregnant before time?
Mm-hmm.
Et cetera, et cetera. How should I handle my wife if she steps out on me? I do have a right to put her away, but yet I do have a obligation to forgive her, and I could choose to stay with her as a Christian man.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be easy, but it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
All things are possible to him that believes.
Mm-hmm.
What's possible isn't predicated upon Brother Basement or Brother King. It's predicated on what I believe.
Right.
I back off.
I wanted to read a comment here. God Happened to Me says, men are taught in marriage, please your wife. Women are taught in marriage, submit to your husband. It will be pleasurable. Well, what will be pleasurable? Y'all never said nothing. Which is right. You know, that is a conversation I think that the church shies away from. Because you know they probably don't think that they should be preaching about that in the pulpit, but at the same time, it's these things are in the Bible. You know what I mean? These situations that we come across every day are in the Bible, but it seems like sometimes preachers are, you know, they kind of tiptoe on some of these subjects and they don't want to get down and deep and dirty and hot, honest, open, and transparent about some of these things. So again, that's why I do like Dr. Darius Daniels, because he does, you know, get down in the trenches. Like, look, he's a good teacher of the word. It's like, look, it's happening right here. You know, it's going on right here before our eyes. So for y'all to say, oh, well, the Bible was written out all these years ago and da 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 da, men are repeatedly going after women that they shouldn't go after. And they do this because they're getting the right needs met in the wrong place. Right? They are having what was the phrase that we said before? Chronic. Somebody help me out if y'all seen the first. I think it was chronic. When you guys are not, I'm gonna have to watch it back. The first live from knowledge from the series, but you're pretty much stagnant. You're staying in the same place, doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's pretty much having like a chronic impaired vision. You know what I mean? You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then again, like Michelle, God happened to me says, you know, you're never saying how it will be pleasurable. And I think, like Brock said, this is not something that's going to happen overnight, right? This is not something, you know, if a woman is not taught sensuality, and I think sensuality is taught outside of the church. You know, sensuality has to be taught in loving yourself and getting to know yourself as a woman. I think women have issues with that, and they may bring it into the church and be like, "Oh, well, you know, the church don't talk about X, Y, and Z," but I don't think that the church need to talk about how to be sensual. You know, I think that's your mama job. I think that's a self-exploration job as a woman. You should want to tap into your, you know, sensuality and your softness and your femininity. I think that's all a part of that. But when you pair it with Christianity, or when you pair it with being in a relationship with someone and being in a marriage, when he says that's when you should be free, it's like, well, that's when you should trust me as your husband to be someone that's in this with you and not someone who is competing against you or trying to get you to do things that you don't want to do necessarily, but I'm in this with you. So if I ask you for something, or if I say I would like to do X, Y, and Z, don't be dismissive of my desires. It goes right back to the first point that he made. You know, don't demonize my differences. Yeah, I'm a man and I have this sexual desire. Are you going to demonize me for it? Because a lot of men don't tell women about their sexual desire because they feel like a woman is going to look at him crazy. A woman's going to look at him like, "That's what you want to do? How long you been thinking about that?"
Hey,
That
and what that man should do is preach from Brother Juvenile from the book of 400 Degrees, verse 13, track 13. Back
on.
that thingeth
Come
on
on.
uppeth.
Make it relevant. Make it relevant. You got a strong point. Make it relevant. Yes, sir.
Let me stop.
No, but you made it relevant.
right.
Marriage is honorable, and the word defiled.
Break it down.
Here again, not trying to impress nobody with Greek and Hebrew. And that's beyond the white man's misinterpretation from the plantation. I've been wanting to say that so long because you hear that and we throw that stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
But from the Greek, the word defile simply means to pollute. So when you put it in context, the bed is not polluted when you have sexual desires met the way you want to have it met with a husband and a wife.
Mm-hmm.
God said, "Go for it.
Do what you gotta do.
You know.
Got to look. I ain't giving you no rules. The only rule is to be married. That is the only rule. Whatever y'all want to do is what y'all want to do. Don't look. It ain't got to be rocket science.
you keyed up on that word sensual. We are already made sensual. When a women, we already know y'all mature faster than us. When you start your monthly cycle, your sensuality, it skyrockets. And
yeah, but I think a lot of women don't tap into it. I think women suffer from, you know, just things that may have happened to them when they were younger, which is, you know, sexual assault, somebody in the family touching them, like, you know, they don't bounce back from that. They don't still see their body as beautiful beings. They don't look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know, that happened to me, but it's not who I am. You know, they don't necessarily bounce back from that mentally, psychologically, emotionally, or spiritually. Just like he said that it's going to take Jesus to save the man that goes mute. It takes Jesus to save the woman that goes mute too, from those things. Those are the things that women go mute over, but then she'll explode or attack you, you know, as the man. She won't heal and get the necessary help that she needs. And so then you have needs that men have needs that are not being met. She has trauma that is not being healed. And then you have a relationship that's damn near, in hell because you don't have good communication. You don't have good communication. You don't have good foundation either. So I think that Michelle had said it in the chat. She goes, women are taught to hate sex and sexuality from their youth. And that could come, the older women are supposed to teach the younger women, right? Well, if the older
Exactly.
women are teaching the younger women about their trauma and not to trust no man and don't get no close to no man, don't sit on no man's lap. And while those things are true, you have to watch the tone and how you say things because children pick up on things a lot faster than adults. You could say something to an adult and it could go over their head, but you say something to a child question you back with a real question. You're like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Like, I didn't even think they was really listening, or I didn't think they was, was paying attention. And so, when women are taught that from their youth, and it's not even not necessarily to hate sex, it's just like, don't have it. When you tell someone not to do something and you have a person who has free will, what you think they're going to do? They're going to do it, So I think we have to have more body positivity conversations with our daughters where it's just like, you shouldn't be flaunting your sexuality, but you also shouldn't be afraid of it either. So I think that needs to be, conversations that we have with our daughters. And then, for the sons, it's look, you're going to have these desires, wait for the person that's going to fulfill them for you. Because a lot of women aren't into fulfilling men's desires. They into what they can get from a man. And let's just keep it real. They not into fulfilling no man's desires. Don't come to me and ask me. Don't tell me nothing that you want. I'll tell you what I want. That's how women roll nowadays. Okay. So, and if anything, they using a sensualness to get a bag off of OnlyFans and IG models and things like that. They're not really using it, like you said, in the context of marriage to give her husband everything that he desires. She won't give it to the world and to these men who ain't going to do nothing but, pay her bills. But to her, that's what's important. So, all right. I think we were, I think that was
Am I
it.
making sense?
Yeah, I think that was it. So we're gonna get to the closing words for this evening. Final thoughts, I should say. I appreciate you guys for coming up. I really do, especially Hank. Thank you so much for taking some time away on your vacation. But do you guys have any final words, to this live? It's it was wrong, but this made it feel right.
I'm gonna go old school on you. I'm always pulling some rhythm and blues. If loving you is wrong,
I don't want to be right.
I don't want to be right. No, do it the right way, people. The right way is always the best way, and you'll save yourself a whole lot of trouble. Because trouble is so easy to get in, but hell to get out.
I agree. Hank, we'll save King for last.
Boy, it's rough right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm all parted out. I'm ready to hit the shower, make love to my lady.
I know that's
call
right.
it a night. But yes, I guess my final thoughts is, man, look, ladies, just make a space where your man can be vulnerable and have the conversation with you, and that's probably the most important thing that I could really say. And just like y'all was saying, that the bedroom is no limits. What we hold back for, it's me and you. It's not me, you, Tom, Dick, and Harry, Jane, and Joanne. No. It's me and you. We don't have to worry about nobody else interfering in this two-person circle. So let's enjoy each other. Let's take it to each other. Let's learn each other. Let's enjoy each other, in all aspects, what I'm saying, where it's in the bedroom or just in general. You know what I'm saying? At the kitchen table, breaking bread together. Let's have some good conversation. Let's interact. Let's just, make it a two-way street. Don't just make it a one-way street. Don't just make it me always being a great listener, but you not being not even a suitable listener. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing all your information. I'm trying to cancel you all the time, but when I need to be canceled, you're nowhere to be found. I got to run to the arms of another woman. That's not good. When I should run to the arms of my wife or
Right.
my lady or my significant other, whatever title you want to give them. So, yeah, ladies, make sure you are able to open yourself up to be vulnerable with your man and allow your man to be vulnerable with you. So,
All right. Thank you, Hank.
mhm.
And King,
All right.
final
I've got
word.
I've got two things. The first thing that I want to highlight is what I said earlier. Since this is the men's panel tonight, I'm going to speak from the perspective of ladies. There are 3 words that you can say to your man that lets them know that you hear them and that you at least support them. Tell me more. If they're expressing their desires, say those words. Tell me more. All right, that goes a long way. And the second thing that I want to say to close out, I appreciate Vassar coming on tonight and saying what he had to say. Like, his contributions tonight were fantastic. And Hink, man, to pop on from Jamaica, brother, that's dope, man. Hope you enjoyed your trip. And if you go into that story on Wednesday, I put your channel in the link chat up here, because I love to hear it, man.
I feel like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, definitely tap in. I'm gonna do something. It probably won't go long, but yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Definitely. Well,
Yeah,
safe travels, Hank. Thank you again. I really appreciate you. I really do.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Thank the
ma'am.
missus, because this is time out from her, so I appreciate her as well. Thank you.
Mhm.
Safe travels, and guys, I'm gonna keep my final thoughts very short. Inquire about the desire. Okay, as a woman, it is your job to inquire about the desires of your man. Because if you don't, you just might be handing them over to another woman, and you don't want to do that. So you do want to inquire about the desire. You don't want to demonize his difference, and definitely tap into your sensuality as women. I think that's part of our power, sensuality. And if you've been hurt or things have happened to you in the past, definitely take your power back, regain your power, and be comfortable in that. All right. So tonight's show is sponsored by jecreative.com, jecreativehosting.com. Excuse me. There is a code of HCM22 for a special discount. If you guys are looking for a place to have your website hosted, you can definitely hit them up. But I appreciate you guys for joining us this evening. Again, it's been a good one. We'll be back next Monday. Tomorrow I will be on, I'm not going to be doing the modern dating panel. I'll actually be doing Black Man Unfiltered tomorrow. So catch me over there. And then on Thursday, I'll be on Lapeef. Hank, I see you sometime on Lapeef or whenever, but we'll cross paths somewhere on the online platforms. But until then, guys, you know what I always say: keep it real with yourself, so you can keep it real with others. Guys, have a great evening. Good night.